As we kind of take a look at how this is broken down so far with these highlights, Evansville getting a lot of opportunities, but credit to Bryce Logan. He's been in the way in net for Bradley.
He's definitely been a little lifesaver for the Bradley team this game.
See this attempt by Graham. And a kick save and a beauty, as they call it, for Logan right there. This one probably might have been one of the unluckiest breaks for Evansville, as it was a missed punch by Logan, but he's able to fall on it before Evansville can get the second chance in that first half. And really not much to talk about in terms of the stats in the first half. Evansville just out shooting Bradley 7-3 through the first 45 minutes. Otherwise, the stat line's pretty even throughout for both teams. So again, it seems like finishing for both sides and the attacking third the key in the second half, Emily.
Yeah, I think finishing is definitely going to be the key for both teams in the second half.
It's Evansville, pretty much just like they did in the first matchup against Bradley. And again, on March 4th, it was a 1-0 win for Bradley, but Evansville outshot the Braves 15-7 in that game.
I think they definitely came out more confident and consistent in this game, with their shots happening a lot more early on in the first half.
Now, you've been inside the halftime huddles with your respective team, Emily. So what are maybe some of the things that the coaches talked about for each side, maybe some of the adjustments they would like to make going into the second half?
They definitely just take exactly what the coaches think will get a goal from it. And I think in this game, they just need to work on that last-second finish, the last final touch of the play. And that's going to make a big difference in this game.
Second half underway. Evansville with possession. They'll play it long off the kickoff. Down the field toward Bradley's defense, as we'll switch sides of the field as well. So Bradley will head toward the goal on your screen, left to right. Evansville now going right to left. So go over the sideline. So now that we're through the first 45 minutes, Emily, how we hear coaches talk about a lot, consistency, which was one big thing that Coach Ray talked about going into this game for Evansville, but playing maybe a full match. What does that mean in terms of being a player on the field and a team's perspective of playing a full game and having that consistency?
I think there really is such thing as a second half slump, so I think coaches really emphasize to their players that you need to come out in the second half and attack. You can't be laid back just because it's the second half.
Bradley on the attack. Taken away by Evansville just for the moment, but back into play now for Bradley in the box. Cleared away as Collins tried to dance in. So it'll be a throw-in for Evansville. As it's Garvey working toward the far side. Going forward. Looks like it's Carl Bumbo, and he'll earn a throw in for Evans a little further up the field. So front line with Bumbo, LaCulia, and Graham was making their way up the pitch. It'll be Garvey to take a throw in for Evansville, and remember, he can throw it long. He can throw it into the box. Gets it to the top side of the 6. Ball loose. Spun around. Shot. Goal for the Aces. They'll take the 1-0 lead off the foot of Nicola LaCulia as Evansville jumps ahead early in the second half. You can see the excitement on his face. He's taking a look from this backside view. Headed right down. He comes back to it to take the shot on goal, and that's a big key right there, Emily, with him going back to the ball despite it being behind him.
Yeah, that was definitely a really good turn shot. I don't think the Bradley defense was expecting that at all because of the way his body was facing.
So Evansville now with their third goal of the season, 2 by Ian. Now the first one of the season for LaCulia. And now they have scored in back-to-back games. And Evansville with their first lead of the year, as they've had to play from behind in their matches this season. So we'll see maybe how the confidence level and maybe Evansville's intensity might ramp up just a little bit more now that they're playing from ahead. Ball cleared out. And Emily, how much of a difference does it make to play with a lead in terms of especially the mentality of the players on the field? So we take another look at that Sprinterama shot from LaCulia.
Yeah, I think it makes all the difference having a lead, because it can even give you energy on the field, thinking about that you're ahead and you want to stay ahead and you don't want them to think that they can be in this game now.
We've mentioned in the first half how big of a game this is for both teams just in regards to the MVC standings at this point of the season. In the round-robin format. Both teams trying to, again, kind of creep back up into the standings when you have the likes of course, Missouri State at the top, as well as Drake and Loyola in the conference as well. Evansville content to work it back to the defensive side of the field. So, over a week ago, last Sunday, Evansville stopped a long goalless streak. They had gone 337 minutes without a goal, dating back to their first game against Lipscomb on the road, their first game of the season. Now they've scored in back-to-back games. So maybe Evansville has kind of found their stride a little bit offensively. Maybe now they'll have that breakthrough. Ball goes all the way back. Logan there to corral it. Of course, for Evansville, the big offensive kind of storyline for this year is the fact that they don't have run. As Sergev was the intended target, making the run toward the goal. Now Madden will boot it away. So under 10 minutes to play now. Evansville with 12 shots. Bradley with 9. There comes Dahu once again. After passing it, makes a run toward the middle, taken away. And off the steal, Bradley looking to may find some options to push it up the field, but they have to slow it up. All the way down to Colosito for Evansville. Schmitzlin taps it over to Pope, who tries to give it back to Schmitzlin, who has to fight for it, gets it, keeps Bradley's possession alive. And Akosi Graham will sub back into the game for Evansville. So at this point in the season, Emily, we're about the halfway point. Evansville and Bradley playing for the second time. Did you start as a team kind of figuring out who that rotation is between the starting 11 and those key subs coming off the bench?
I think Coach Ray definitely has a strategy. He's subbing people with different talents, I think. As you can see, Cozy just went in for, as you can see, Graham just went in for Johansson, and that's speed and speed. So he wants to keep the speed on the field, I think.
As Pavlich stepped up, it'll be a foul against him. As Pope taking the foul, now the clock will stop at 8:31. So it definitely feels like here in the last 10 minutes, Bradley has controlled the possession and kind of controlled the energy and the tempo of this game, now being once again on their attacking half of the field with a chance to send it in on a cross. They'll play it short though. Fishburne back to Pope. A body fell down in the box, but play will continue. Fishburne curls it in. Headed away. It'll be Evansville's throw in. And for the set pieces here, especially the last, like I said, 10 minutes or so, Emily, have you noticed anything with maybe the strategy behind the set pieces for Bradley, in particular with the runs toward the box?
I think, despite that last one, I think it's a little odd that Bradley doesn't put all their players in the box as teams usually would, because I think they do have those set plays and that what works for them. They don't just go for it. They have.
And the equalizing goal is in the back of the net. It's the captain, Rasmus Schmichlin. And just like that, the game is tied 1-1 with 7:36 left to play. The back header, Schmitzlin's right there. He'll just tap it in. His second goal of the season here in the 83rd minute. Only had 2 shots total coming into tonight's game, but let's face it, the shots he's getting, he's putting on net. So the intensity for Bradley here in the last 2 minutes is rewarded with the equalizing goal. Evansville now maybe a little deflated this late in the game, giving up the tying goal.
Definitely, I think Evansville really needed to keep that possession in the last 10 minutes, and I think that's just something that didn't happen at that moment. So now the game has completely changed, and they go from the mindset of keeping the ball, keeping the win, to now they need another goal, and I think that's definitely going to show in the last 7 minutes.
And on the flip side for Bradley, Emily, they've been close so many times, especially here in the second half. The mentality they now have, considering that they finally broke it through for the tying goal.
I think that definitely changed their mentality for the better. You could tell that they were getting really frustrated with all the opportunities that they were getting, and I think that they finally just finished one, and it's definitely boosted their confidence for the rest of the game.
Again, the tying goal kind of came on the backside of that play. Off the header. Schmitzlin right there to put it away. Now beautiful Bradley header. Might get another one here at the corner. They'll get another chance. So we were talking about set pieces from an offensive standpoint for Bradley making the runs, but now Evansville has to keep themselves organized on the backside. Here comes the cross in. Diving header. Ball still loose. Evansville dribbles it up. Nkosi Graham gets the pass. He gets pushed down. And that'll be a foul. And both coaches on the sideline talking to the 4th official about the call right there. .5:20 on the clock. 12 shots for Evansville, 10 now for Bradley. They just scored the tying goal just a few minutes ago. Both goals coming in the second half. Evansville took the lead with a 1-0 lead within the first handful of minutes of the second half. And now Bradley within the